Power isn't just about tanks, missiles, or money. It's about knowing someone will stand beside you when things get difficult. For decades, Israel had that advantage. Powerful countries defended it, protected it, backed it when others wouldn't. But recently, some of those relationships have started to look different. Countries that defended it in international organizations, countries that sold it weapons, countries that blocked efforts to punish it, countries that stood beside it even when much of the world didn't. For a long time, that support looked almost unbreakable. Then something strange started happening, but not in Israel, outside it. Governments that had spent years defending Israel began speaking differently. Votes started changing, statements started changing, policies started changing. At first, these looked like isolated incidents. A disagreement here, a dispute there, nothing unusual. But after enough of them pile up, a pattern starts to emerge. And the pattern raises a question that would have sounded ridiculous 20 years ago. Is Israel slowly losing parts of the coalition that helped sustain it for generations? To answer that, we have to understand something important. Countries don't support each other out of loyalty alone. They support each other because of interest, fear, history, economic, public opinion, and political calculations. The moment those things change, alliances start changing too. And many of the reasons Western countries once strongly identified with Israel were created by events that happened decades ago. World War II, the Holocaust, the Cold War, the War on Terror. Those events shaped entire generations of politicians and voters. But generations don't last forever. New voters arrive. Some of them get most of their information from platforms that didn't even exist 20 years ago. New politicians take office. New conflicts dominate headlines, and gradually, the lens through which people view Israel begins to change. That's exactly what we've been seeing. Across Europe, countries that traditionally backed Israel have become increasingly willing to criticize it. Some have discussed sanctions, others have reduced cooperation. Several have supported positions that would have been politically difficult to imagine just a decade ago. Even in the United States, long considered Israel's most important ally, the political conversation looks very different than it once did. The support hasn't disappeared, not even close, but the certainty surrounding that support has weakened. And Israeli leaders have noticed. For years they've been preparing for a future where international backing may not be as automatic as it once was, developing domestic military industries, building relationships outside traditional Western alliances, trying to reduce dependence on partners whose political priorities might change. Because from Israel's perspective, waiting until support disappears would be a mistake. Preparation has to happen before your friends stop picking up the phone. Whether those preparations will be enough is impossible to know. But one thing is becoming increasingly clear. The story isn't really about one war, or one election, or one UN vote. It's about a slow shift taking place across multiple countries at the same time. The kind of shift that's easy to miss while it's happening, and the kind historians often recognize only after it's already changed everything. It was 1,000 small changes that most people barely noticed, and by the time everyone realized what was happening, the political landscape had already changed. Still, Israel can take comfort in one thing. Democrats and Republicans may disagree on almost everything, but somehow, they always seem to find common ground when it comes to sending billions to Israel.